It says recording in progress, and right away I see Mike Gargano's mug on the screen.
No, you can record this.
It's the only way I get to see is on the screen. How's everything going, Mike?
It's going well. It's great to be seeing everybody there again today. I'm glad the system is working. You're all looking lovely.
Don't lie to me, Mike. It's probably just about as warm here as it was there today.
We were above average today. Just like you, Mr. Mayor, we were above average.
Turn you up for
Yeah, wow.
I've been saving up, you know.
Hey, you have been. Don't go too deep on the list. You run out of them. Jake, I'm going by my phone.
Talk anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. So as soon as you start that.
That's how big that thing was until you see it sitting there.
It looked horrible up there, so.
All right. At 5:30. We'll call the meeting to order with roll call.
Here, Hyde.
Here.
Schulte.
Here.
Gargano.
Here,
Caney.
Here.
Friends.
Here.
Peterson.
Here.
Knudsen.
Here.
Coomer.
Here.
Mayor.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The council will receive information on non-agenda topics brought before the council by members of the public. The council will not discuss these topics and will not take action on any of them at this meeting. Is there anyone who's on the agenda wishes to be heard? We'll go to consent agenda. One motion approves all consent items. Item 1, approve minutes for the meeting held on February 17th, 2025. Number 2, approve and deny application for temporary Class B retailer's license for Reedsburg J.C.'s event Hunter's Night Out, dates November 1st and 2nd, 2025. Location Reedsburg Lions J.C.'s building at 1403 Viking Drive. And number 3, approve and deny application for temporary Class B retailer's license for Reedsburg J.C.'s event Butterfest, dates June 18th to 22nd, 2025. Location Reedsburg Lions J.C.'s building, 1403 Viking Drive. Any questions on the consent agenda? I'll take a motion.
Move to approve.
Motion by Caney. Seconded by Schulte. Anything further? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mayor proclamations and presentations. I'm going to read through the 3 items we have for the evening. And then number 2 and number 3, I'll do back to back. Number 1 is an acknowledgement of Scott Larson as the interim chair of the Police and Fire Commission. Is Scott here? Scott, how you doing? Thank you for taking on the role. Appreciate it much. Everyone that can get, if anybody doesn't know Scott, you can reach out to Scott if you have any questions. I'm going to read the next 2 and then I'll go down to the floor to do the proclamation and the swearing in. Number 2 is a proclamation honoring David Estes' 17 years of service to the Police and Fire Commission. And number 3 will be a swearing in of new police officer Anastasia Yankee. First we'll recognize you, Dan. I really didn't write anything down, I can take it from the, May of 2008, you started. All the interviews and hirings and meetings and night evenings and early mornings for meetings, a lot of time that you dedicated to giving back to your community. You wanna give us maybe a funny story or an example of how many interviews you think you went through? How many officers you hired?
Is there something wrong
I don't know.
with this issue?
Wow. No, that's all right.
Training speech in JC, so I can do it.
And mom too, honestly.
Yes.
How are you?
Good, how
Good to
are
meet
you?
you. Good to meet you. We're gonna get you sworn in so you can help keep our streets safe.
Office of Police Officer,
We're all here on the same page, you are. Swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
where that I will support here to Reedsburg.
Right. Again, Dave, thank you for your service to the community for all those years. Let's see, general business. I don't have my glasses, so bear with me. General business, item 1 is consideration of web fund request, Reedsburg Area Medical Center capital campaign. Max, you got this?
Yeah.
Good evening.
All right. So the hospital reached out and has requested some web funds for sponsoring rooms at the new clinic. They had initially requested for 5 sponsors. So each room sponsor is $5,000. I believe Jacob has a copy of what those name tags look like. Essentially, there's a plaque at the outside of the rooms, and then it says this room is sponsored by X community or whoever sponsored. In this case, it would be the Web Fund. It would be appropriate for the fund to do such a thing, and I think it kind of promotes some support from the city to the hospital. Obviously, the hospital brings tons of employees and provides a huge benefit to the community. I don't know if necessarily 5 is necessary, but I think having the Web Fund's name on one of the exam rooms would be great. Just to give an update, right now there's $340,000 roughly in the Web Fund, and $50,000 of that is already budgeted for. So really, we're looking at $290,000. So that is still in the fund.
Questions for Max or discussion? Go ahead, Dave.
don't know that I agree. I agree that the clinic's a wonderful thing. The expansion's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing for our community. If my numbers are correctly, 200 or $22 million. They've already raised $4 million. On a $2 million. They wanted to raise 2 million. They raised 4. My feelings about the Webb Fund are that Herbert Webb created that fund for the kids, for parks, for the school, for ventures like that. Not that this isn't a good cause. I just don't know that the Webb Fund is money where we should be taking it from to show goodwill. If we were talking about taking it out of a legislative fund, I would probably be more apt to be supportive of it. But I do not believe that this is what the Webb Fund was created for. And I don't, it does absolutely, it meets the minimal criteria of the guidelines for the Webb Fund. But I've sat up here for a lot of years and we've dedicated a lot of money from the Webb Fund for different causes. But generally speaking, those causes are parks, are for the benefit of the kids, the school, not for a 501c that's really not in financial need. And I know that people on this council have opened up their own checkbooks for this. And as I said, it's been a wonderful, wonderful addition to the community. It's a beautiful addition. I just can't support that Webb Fund money is being used for this cause, though, and I won't be voting in favor of it.
Further discussion?
At a recent meeting, Mr. Mayor, it was brought before the council to approve money for a war memorial. I voted against it. I feel very strongly. I'm not sorry that I did vote against it. And my argument was I didn't believe that the Webb Fund should be used to memorialize a war with a cannon and a centerpiece. I still feel that way. This new clinic is intended to serve all the residents of our community, including children. It is much needed and was long time in the planning stages. I believe that the city should be a very active partner in this. You know, our Lions Club made a $10,000 contribution, and that was kind of reaching out from something that we normally do, but we felt it was important. I feel it is very important. And, you know, this is something, like I say, that has been a long time in the planning stages. It's a great addition to the community. And I certainly feel that no matter what we decide, how much ever we decide to spend on it, I'm wholeheartedly in support of spending some Webb Fund money on the clinic.
Anyone else?
Next, what was the date of the application?
What do you mean?
When did we, let's see, I'll get it.
Jacob would have to know that.
How many rooms were you looking to sponsor out of the Webb Fund?
They requested 5. I think it's up to you of how, if any, you want to do. Personally, I think if you want to go 5, that's fine. In the end, it's how much do you guys want to support? And again, each 5,000 is going to be another placket on a room that will say the Webb Fund on there. I think 1's a good gesture. I think 5 would be fine too.
I'll throw my 2 cents in on this. I've been on this council as well, the mayor for the last 15 years, but before that, just as long as Dave Knutson. And I agree, the majority of our projects were definitely geared towards, as you were saying, but it rings in the back of my mind, by looking at the original web fund, the trust itself is said for the betterment of the community. This is definitely for the betterment of the community in my mind, and it will not just encompass adults, but young children, the whole 9 yards. And as you said, Max, it definitely shows that we're tied in with those that benefit for the community. The number is up to you guys.
I guess, can I ask this question?
Yeah,
Because
Sonny.
I just wasn't sure, not knowing where the city has spent some money, web fund monies in the past. Is there any kind of precedent where we stepped out of the parks and those kinds of things and have spent some money in the community otherwise? Is there?
Yeah,
There is. Okay.
I'm not going to be able to think of anything specific, but I'm sure there has been some that have kind of wishy-washed away from.
So they've done that in the past.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'm thinking, I'm like you, I'm trying to think of an example to answer Sonny's question, and I know there have been, and
Oh, yeah.
old age and memory is a fragile,
That's
you know,
where
thing
I'm at
going on
with
here.
it too.
I like, you know, having been on, I'm one of the people who've been on here a long time too. And it seems like the most controversial things that we ever do are web fund applications. And I do like that. I mean, however this vote goes, it does make me feel like we're good stewards of the fund, that we take our time and we're not rubber stamping anything. I was thinking about what Dave said and how things are usually tailored to projects for kids. I don't believe the web fund specifically says that has to be it, but I have always kind of looked at it as funding projects that otherwise wouldn't get done because there really isn't another source of funding. I'm not sure this fits. I mean, there's always people falling over themselves to help fund, projects with the medical center, but I could get on board to support the one room as a gesture. I don't think we need a whole lot of web fund plaques up there. That, I don't know, seems to me to be overkill.
As you were talking, Dave, I thought of one prime example of a large benefactor that was definitely not, it was the Veterans Memorial.
Right.
That was a big amount.
Yep. Well,
Although it resides in a park. It is part of our biggest park.
Correct.
along with the combine, which is to this day the most controversial thing I've ever
That's
been a
another
part
prime
of.
example of the combine.
I have family
That's
members
actually
who haven't
technically a
forgiven
part
me for
two.
that one yet, so.
There are technicalities everywhere. Yeah, go ahead, Chief. Yep. Gosh. Sure. Dave, you got people thinking.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
For the infant delivery.
I think that was a private. Yep. For discussion. Comments or a motion if one's in order.
I like Dave's sentiment that we should show some support. I think that is a good cause. I'd be in favor of doing one room. With that, I guess I'd make a motion to approve $5,000 for one room.
Perfect. Motion by Kaney to donate one room. It'd be in the amount of $5,000.
I'll second that motion.
Seconded. He beat you online even. Unbelievable. Seconded by Gargano. At least he's paying attention. Anything further? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, thank you very much. Recommendations from boards, committees, and commissions from the Plan Commission. Approve or deny resolution 4270-25 certified survey map for 1215 Furman Drive, parcel number 276-2093-32400. Brian, how are you tonight?
Good, thank you, Mayor. So this CSM is on Furman Drive. It's an industrial lot, and there's a floodplain there, so there's some issues that they'd have to work out. But their request here tonight is divide the property for some future storage buildings, and this was recommended by Plan Commission.
Questions for Brian? All right, don't go too far, Brian.
I guess I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead,
Brian. Are we sure that delineation for the wetlands can be worked out, Brian?
Well, according to the state maps, the wetlands are just north of the property. They're not actually on the property, so that's the official record anyway. I mean, whether they have to actually delineate it, it's up to them. But according to the maps, it's
Good question. That was definitely discussed at Plan Commission. Yep. Anything further? I'll take a motion if one's in order.
Move to approve, Your Honor.
Motion by Knutson,
Second.
seconded by Hyde. Anything further? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 2 from the Plan Commission, approve or deny Resolution 4571-25, certified survey map for 137 and 139 Lois Drive, parcels 276-2559-00000 and 276-2559-10000. Brian.
So this is a current duplex that they're looking to divide in half. Right now, it's a condominium ownership, so they want to divide it in half and have 2 different owners. And this was also recommended by Plan Commission.
Questions for Brian?
Move to approve.
Thanks, Brian. Motion by Kane to approve.
Second.
Seconded by Peterson. Anything further? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And number 3 from Parks and Rec is approval of notice of award to T&M General Contractors, low bidder for the Gathering Place restroom building project. Total bid amount was $251,316. Matt Muko, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Great.
So we opened bids last Thursday for the restroom building there. The page or the documents I sent you, there was 3 page. Page 2 is the notice of award that assumes you guys award all the alternates. If you decide to approve something different, we'll change that and get you a new copy. But there were 4 bids there. T&M was low by quite a bit, especially with just the base bid. If you notice the CCJ, they're out of Muscadet, but they, for whatever reason, put a lot of their prices in just the base bid. So if you see like the family restroom, which is alternate A1, T&M was $18,721. So just so you guys are aware, the base bid for the family or for the restroom was the men's and women's, and then a large mechanical room that at a minimum is roughed in for the family restroom. The alternate bid would be building the walls for the family restroom and all the fixtures and all that. So T&M's was $18,721, and that's where I was saying CCJ, they must have been playing their numbers a little different because they put $2,000 on that for whatever reason. Alternate 2A and 2B, they're just 2 different types of steel roof. The base bid had an asphalt roof. 2A, just a little higher end asphalt roof, or a steel roof that I guess is more fade resistant, whatever, long term. So I guess I would, especially with the cost difference there, would suggest going with the 2A versus 2B, given the minimal cost difference and the value of the 2A or the metal roof. And then the third alternate is the drinking fountain. That was also a add alternate. That's $6,157. So base bid was $225,990. Alternate low bid with all the alternates was just over $251,000. So the city had previously budgeted $200,000 for it. We submitted a grant application, a Vibrant Spaces grant application, I think in October. They're going to let the city know in mid-March if you get that grant. And that'd be a $50,000 potential grant that would go towards this. The city can approve this ahead of time. Their rules is they don't want you to incur costs before they award the grant. So awarding this at this time is fine. You could decide to award whatever amount you want. And then the Vibrant Spaces grant hopefully will come through in mid-March, which would allow for securing contracts and spending money after that for basically constructing it this summer. So anyone have any questions with the bid results or alternates to consider?
Any questions for Matt or Phil? I know you guys worked hard at this at Parks. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, so when this came through the budget, we were going to take 125,000 out of the capital improvements from Oak Park, which was going to be property tax money. We decided to use a little bit of web fund and park impact fees. So this $200,000 that was budgeted for that, because we got the rough cost from Matt at Veerbecker's. This came in a little bit above that. Talked with Jacob. We're sitting really good with the park impact fees, and that's exactly what that fund is for. This is a regional park. Jacob, how much did you say was in there? 200 some thousand. Yeah. So, from what Matt has said, we're sitting in a good position for the chance to get that grant, but that's still, we're in good position. That's not an absolute. If we take some of the alternates off, way more expensive to finish that bathroom. The metal roof that's a complete no-brainer if anybody's done construction or maintenance.
It's just for the matching of towards the pavilion is a no-brainer.
This bathroom is going to be one of the highlights of an addition to our downtown and parks in a long time. And we've got some really neat things, but having a bathroom down there with the potential to have water that's our biggest priority for the year. So I guess with that, I would make a motion. We accept the low bid with A2A. Is that the one that's with D&M?
Motion by Peterson.
Yeah, all of the alternates
And get to the 251.
but the 2A and not 2B. Because they're both steel roofs.
Yep.
That was just
You're just talking about the extra 50 coming from park impact fees
if we don't get the grant.
If we don't get the grant, yep.
I'll second.
Motion by Peterson, seconded by Schulte. Anything further? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Phil, thanks to your group for all your work on that. Matt, thanks for all your help with that as well. And Matt Scott too. Thank you.
Yeah, the two Matts.
Matt and Matt. That's right.
Yeah.
Matt squared.
Here.
Yes. Brian.
Just add just an FYI. Where is it?
Yep.
I think it's early January and they later central.
So that was just to follow up on Brian's point there. So that was taken into consideration when this was drawn up and by the guidance so there's going to be a little bit of change in elevation of the building. We don't expect that to be an issue.
Yep.
But we don't have the blessing yet.
Right. That's why you just want to just do it and move on.
All right. Saying the
Do it
phone
and
might
move
just be
on.
ringing at FEMA and nobody's there to answer it anymore.
Next year.
All right, let's move on to city administrative report. Max, what you got for us?
Sure. Well, busy first 2 weeks. I will say one thing that I found out is that we have this HUD money sitting for the floor at the field house. It was like a $560,000 grant that is just ready for us to draw. So I had a conversation with the Milwaukee HUD last week, and now it's transferred to somebody in DC, but I haven't heard anything. And from my conversation with him, he said that it's been what you'd expect in terms of the federal government. So I will keep pushing, but frankly, there were people included in our email. It's like, I don't even know if they're still working there. So I'll continue to work on that. Mayor and I have a meeting with JAG this week regarding the fieldhouse floor. So I will give you an update on how that's going. I know that they did a deep clean on Friday. but I haven't heard anything since then.
I haven't had anybody call to complain, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Well, you had referenced in your email to us, Max, that is there going to be the necessity to have multiple cleanings with that solvent, that magic solvent?
I don't know yet. So generally the manufacturer says that they want to use that solvent whenever you clean it. But there are recommendations versus like deep cleans versus regular cleans and what exactly that means. And I think it's a learning process for the city and for JAG because they haven't used that type of flooring either. And we haven't figured it out yet, essentially. So that's part of the process. Again, I'll give you an update after I meet with them again. But just letting you know from the city side that we're going to do everything that we can to make sure that it works. We don't want to have a field house, even though it's rented out to JAG, that we get complaints on.
And the day it's our building. Yep.
And then I want to welcome Joe Hassler, new city attorney. He's attending today, so if you want to say anything,
Never
Joe,
met
you
that
can.
guy before.
Yeah.
Introduce
Joe,
yourself,
welcome
Joe.
aboard.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for naming me city attorney. I think that's your hope as well, but I want you.
Joe, we wholeheartedly appreciate what you do.
Thanks, Joe. And that's it for me.
All right. Commission, committee, board and staff reports. Let's see. Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec met last week and we had a presentation from Historic Preservation about some signage for Mackey Park. And they're working on some collaborations to get the right format information. And Matt's going to join in with the signage for our traditional park signs there. So that'll be coming up here. We'll know more details here in the next few months. So, and then we basically got this Legend splash pad project buttoned up and be going out to bid. So there we go.
It's starting to get out there about that park. People are getting excited.
Yeah. And that of course is a donor funded project.
Yep.
So that'll be a nice addition to that part of our city.
REDC. Public Works.
Public Works did not meet.
Utility Commission.
Utility met on the 17th. Nick Idy was acknowledged for 10 years of service, and it was really great to zoom into that meeting because he was so appreciative of having the opportunity to work for the utility for 10 years. You don't see that kind of enthusiasm in a lot of workplaces where you recognize someone and they're so effusive about it's so good to be here. I can't wait to see what happens next. And he was really positive. It was fun to see.
Nick's a good kid.
Electric and water crews have been doing a lot of their winter projects, inspections, tree trimming, and things like that. Right now, the frost, according to John Craker, is between 30 and 40 inches. And with the recent nicer weather, we shouldn't see that going any deeper. The USDA documents have been completed. So everything, all the bidding for broadband additions will be beginning in March. And the other thing that the commission approved is that the utility is now going to offer a residential camera service for the residents from 1 to 3 cameras that you can have in your house, be based on the Wi-Fi at a reasonable price. So like I say, that'll be coming up in the very near future. So that's it for utility.
You can keep track of your house while you're away, huh?
That's right.
You can see
I know
when-
there are people who already do that. It's just not a service that the utilities offered before, but I know that I have talked to some people who are in Florida in the winter, and I think they just do it to make their neighbors feel bad because they can call them up and say, I see it snowing up there, you know.
I'm just thinking that way you'll know when Jacob and I head over to your house to have lunch.
There you go.
Uh-huh. Let's see, Plan Commission. We approved the, or recommend the CSMs that you guys looked at here at this meeting, and we talked about some zoning changes to help with hopefully having some single-family housing start to take off with new builds. There'll be more to talk about that here soon in the next couple of months. Library Board.
Library Board met on the 13th. All the summer programs have been finalized and put in place. That's going to include Zizort, James the Magician, the Science Heroes, and one of your favorites, Mr. Mayor, the Worm Races.
There it is.
So,
I've actually judged that before.
well, we'll tap you again, okay?
Okay.
We're updating our website for the library, and we hired a former circulation assistant who had left before, and now she is back, so we're fully staffed once again. Pi Day is coming up on March 14th. See, that's another one of yours, Mr. Mayor.
It's one of my favorites. I'll miss you that day.
So the community room projector failed, but that has since been replaced. The entryway doors and the tile work is all completed. So if you haven't been over there lately, walk in. It's a very nice addition there. On the 21st of March, the REDC breakfast is going to be at the library, 7:30 a.m. That'll be a good opportunity for people to see the existing library. And we sent out requests for proposal from 3 different architects. Those are due to be back the end of February now. And then we will be looking at those at our March meeting, or possibly even before that. So we are expecting returns from ADCI, let's see who else, MSA and FEH. So they had all done walkthroughs of the Land's End building prior to receiving that package. So I expect we'll receive proposals from all 3 of those. So that's all for the library.
A lot going on at the library. There always is. This is good stuff. Thanks, Mike. Zoning Board. CDA.
Not me.
Any other committee, commission, staff member with anything they want to report? Screw on the horseshoe. Jake Coomer, anything on your mind?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Dave Knudsen.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Phil Peterson.
Enjoy the weather.
Man. Missy Friends.
Nothing, thank you.
Adam Caney.
Nothing tonight.
Max Buckner.
Nothing for me.
Jake from City Hall. Mike Gargano.
I just want to thank Max and Jacob for getting the AC system, audiovisual system up and running again. It's not perfect, but we're getting there. So I'll send Max a note here with my critique of it. But I could hear. I was honored to be the crash test dummy for the system this morning, and so that went off well. But thanks to both of you and the city for budgeting that. It's a well-needed addition, not just for me, but when we have developers doing proposals and zooming in, we need to be able to hear them, and they need to be able to hear us, and it's much improved. So thank you, and it's good to see all of you.
Thanks, Mike. Jason Schulte.
Nothing tonight.
Sonny Hayden.
Nothing tonight.
Dave Moon.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
I just want to add, I think this will be the first meeting in quite a while too that this will be back on our YouTube channel, correct? So those I've had quite a few people actually asking me over the last few months, especially wondering where the council meetings went. They got used to watching them. So make sure you get back onto our YouTube channel and you'll see this uploaded, and we'll be back on the internet from here on out. I have nothing else to go, so I'll take a motion to adjourn. I knew you were going to. Missy? Motion by Missy.
Second.
Seconded by Schulte. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Didn't think so. Motion carries. Thanks, everybody. Always counting on the sun coming up and Missy to make the.
There you go.